A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 10, verses 25 to 37. Passage taken from the Message version of the Bible. Just then, a religion scholar stood up with a question to test Jesus. "Teacher, what do I need to do to get eternal life?" He answered, "What is written in God's law? How do you interpret it?" He said, "That you love the Lord your God with all your passion and prayer and muscle and intelligence, and that you love your neighbor as well as you do yourself." "Good answer," said Jesus. "Do it, and you will live." Looking for a loophole, he said, "And just how would you define neighbor?" Jesus answered by telling a story. There was once a man traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho. On the way, he was attacked by robbers. They took his clothes, beat him up, and went off, leaving him half dead. Luckily, a priest was on his way down the same road, but when he saw him, he angled across to the other side. Then a Levite religious man showed up. He also avoided the injured man. A Samaritan traveling the road came on him. When he saw the man's condition, his heart went out to him. He gave him first aid, disinfecting and bandaging his wounds. Then he lifted him onto his donkey, led him to an inn, and made him comfortable. In the morning, he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper, saying, "Take good care of him. If it costs any more, put it on my bill. I will pay you on my way back." What do you think? Which of the 3 became a neighbor to the man attacked by robbers? "The one who treated him kindly," the religion scholar responded. Jesus said, "Go and do the same." The Gospel of the Lord. Reflections on the Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 10, verses 25 to 37. Today we celebrate the feast of St. Francis of Assisi. In 1979, Saint Pope John Paul II declared St. Francis as the patron saint of ecology. Today is also the concluding day of the annual observation of the month-long season of creation. The season of creation is an ecumenical celebration of prayer and action for caring for the nature where we live in. The season, and especially this day, calls on us to care for our neighbor and care for the nature that surrounds us. Caring for our neighbor is the theme of the Gospel today. The scholar of the law in the Gospel asks Jesus that famous question, "Who is my neighbor?" And Jesus' answer results in the famous parable of the Good Samaritan. The robbers beat the man up and left him half dead. Explaining the passage, Pope Francis spoke of the attitude of being a passerby. We live in a society where people tend to pass by their neighbors without noticing their needs. The priest of the temple and the Levite who came across the half-dead man on the roadside but preferred to pass by. The Gospel does not say the reasons for such a heartless behavior, but we can think of some valid reasons. The priest and the Levite are temple officials, and if they were to touch this wounded man on the roadside, they would become unclean. It would require them to go through the purification rituals before they could get into the temple. They might be hurrying for their liturgy. On the contrary, the Samaritan does not simply pass by. He doesn't seem to be in a hurry, He attends to this wounded man. He got his hands dirty. He got his clothes dirty. Took time to dress his wounds and take him to safety and entrusted someone to take care of him. Our response to the needs of our neighbor is often that of passing by. We are aware that there are neighbors around us who are wounded and in distress. But we have a lot of other things to attend to. But the parable of the Good Samaritan presents a picture of a God who does not leave his wounded child on the roadside to die. Pope Francis explains that each of us is the man there, wounded, and the Samaritan is Jesus himself. And he healed our wounds. He drew near to us. He took care of us. He paid for us. And he said to his church, "But if you need more, you pay. I will come back and I will pay." Think about this. In this passage, there is the whole gospel. Let us learn from St. Francis of Assisi to imitate Christ the Good Samaritan.